Welcome back to What's Now. Right now, the real estate market across the country is crazy. It is definitely a time where sellers are selling, but there still isn't enough inventory for buyers. Did you know that Wells Fargo has housing counselors that can help you through all the steps of buying and selling a home? Well, I've got more information. Let's take a look.
This past year, a number of our neighbors have emerged as heroes, from medical professionals to teachers to grocery store workers, and rightfully so. But another group, one we may not be as familiar with, has been tirelessly helping those impacted by the pandemic to keep a roof over their heads. They're called housing counselors, and with an estimated 1 in 5 renters behind on rent and just over 10 million homeowners behind on mortgage payments, these advocates have been and continue to play a critical role for people in need. Eileen Fitzgerald, head of Housing Affordability Philanthropy with Wells Fargo, joins us to talk about the importance of these individuals and the services that are still available to everyone. Eileen, thanks for being here.
Thanks so much for having me.
Who are these housing counselors, and what role do they continue to play in helping people who fear losing their homes?
So a housing counselor is a financial coach or advocate who really has the best interests of a family and you at heart when you're trying to make your housing decisions. There are thousands of housing counselors across the country that are approved by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, and they offer objective advice at little to no cost. Wells Fargo has been supporting housing counselors for many years. So what does a housing counselor do? Well, for renters, they can help connect them to the rental assistance that's now available, help connect them or give guidance on legal assistance and legal protections and get them to the right place, work with them on their other debts and working with creditors on debt repayment plans, and sometimes even working with landlords on rent repayment plans. And then housing counselors also help homeowners who are struggling to pay their mortgage or worried about that. Again, helping them access financial assistance, working on their budgets and their other debts, and most importantly, helping them avoid foreclosure.
And these counselors not only help when there's a problem, but they can also help from day one of the home buying process. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so, buying a house is really intimidating for any of us. And, often somebody reaches out and their first time homeowner to friends or family who bought a home. And that's great, but they may not have the most up-to-date information and they don't know the particulars of your situation. Working with a housing counselor gets you independent advice. Their only interest is in helping you make the right decision. There are long-term costs to home ownership, and you really want to make sure that you understand your budget and your financial situation before you go down that path. Sometimes you just fall in love with a home and you're really eager to get it, but the housing counselor can help you think about whether that's the right choice and then help navigate the mortgage process and everything else that's involved in buying and closing a home.
They can't provide these essential services, however, without help from organizations like yours. How did your organization contribute?
Yeah, so, Wells Fargo, we recognize how important a home is. It's fundamental to our health and wellness, to economic opportunity and dignity. And in COVID-19, that just became reemphasized, right? The importance of everybody having a safe and healthy place to live. So we provided $85 million in grants to organizations around the country to help keep people housed. And that included housing counselors, legal assistants, and other local and national nonprofit housing organizations, all focused on helping people have a safe and healthy place to live.
How has COVID-19 impacted housing security?
Yeah, so, even before COVID, lots of people were struggling to make their rent or mortgage payments given their paycheck. And then with COVID, lots of reductions in that. So people struggled even more. And we know that that was particularly true for Black and Hispanic renters and homeowners who were really hardest hit by COVID. So now we're seeing other challenges in housing stability because the CDC, federal CDC eviction moratorium is due to expire on June 30th. And so renters, if you're worried about making your rent, if you haven't been able to make your rent, please reach out to a housing counselor ASAP to see if they can help you find some rental assistance and stay in your home if possible. Similarly, many of the mortgages that are eligible for forbearance, that eligibility application will expire on June 30th. So really important to reach out to your counselor or your servicer if you need forbearance, to ask for it if you haven't done that already.
And what other tips do you have for people seeking housing counseling?
The first is just do it. If you're worried about making your rent or mortgage payment, or you've missed some, please reach out for assistance. And then when you do, if you can, get your financial papers together, get your lease or your mortgage payment, other bills you have to pay, so you can really have a good conversation with the counselor. And then finally, remember that this counselor is your trusted advisor, right? What you say to them is confidential and private. So really share with them the situation you're facing. But most importantly, reach out for that assistance and support.
And where can we go for more information?
Sure. So the best thing is to go to hud.gov/find a counselor, or be on hud.gov and search housing counseling. And you'll find information on local and national housing counseling agencies that you can access.
Thank you so much, Eileen Fitzgerald, for joining us today. I appreciate this important conversation about advocates who are working to keep everyone in their homes during this tough time. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.